Hey guys, welcome back to Top Tier Sports. It's me, Victor. I'm here with you to do our first weekend recap, 8 minutes of madness. We're going to see how this goes, all sports that are happening, so that way you don't have to wait a week now just to hear about a sport where something happened one day after our video. Um, we're this is definitely a test run phase, and I'm wasting a lot of time just talking about it, so let's get right into it. If you are someone who's only watching for each sport, here are rough time marks to try and get to if you just want to see that sport. Right after this, we're going to talk about NHL, so about the 1 minute mark. MLB will start with at about the 2 minute mark and go over the trade that happened there. XFL will go over at roughly the 3 minute mark, and then from the 4 minute mark on will be the NBA and especially the trades that have happened there. So, with that, let's jump right into it. NHL. There's really only one story I want to talk about and truly headline from the NHL, and that is the Columbus Blue Jackets, and more specifically, Elvis Merlikins. This kid has been phenomenal. He really only got his chance this year when Korpisalo went down, but up until his last game, he had an 8 game win streak. Of those 8 games, while he was in net, he had 5 shutouts. This streak was snapped on Saturday when he played against the Avalanche, and frankly, we can't even give him too much hardship for that because he only let up 2 goals to the Avalanche, who have one of the most dynamic scoring teams in the league. And along with that, he was playing on a back-to-back. So, all that has led to Columbus jumping to the 3rd spot in the Metro, and now being in the playoff spot. So congrats to them. Onto the MLB. Trade we've heard about rumors for a while. A long time has finally taken place. It's a blockbuster trade, I will say. It's between the Red Sox and the Dodgers. If you haven't heard about it yet, Mookie Betts and David Price are headed to the Dodgers. In return from the Dodgers, they're getting Alex Verdugo, Jeter Downs, and Connor Wong, outfield, shortstop, catcher, respectively, in the order that I listed. Overall, as someone who is more on the outside, I like this for the Dodgers because we see them year after year in recent years make a playoff run and make it to the World Series the past 3 years, if I'm remembering correctly. Fact check me on that. And they just aren't able to get the job done. So maybe by getting these big name guys like Mookie Betts and David Price, as Betts was just the 2018 MVP, then maybe this can swing something in their favor. On to the XFL. This was the opening week. I don't know how many of you got a chance to watch. I watched some of each game or saw highlights. I didn't watch one game the full way through. Overall, I do think I will start watching it more. It didn't grab my attention more than hockey did this weekend, so I'm going to try and keep up with it more. I like a lot of the concepts they did. I love the kickoffs. We're avoiding injuries on that front. I like that it's faster pace. I like that there's more scoring for the most part, or at least there's essentially going to be more scoring. And we'll keep you guys updated on that. Let us know what team you're rooting for after this weekend. I know some teams didn't have the best showing at Tampa Bay, especially early on. So we'll see, but I'm sticking with them. And finally, on to the NBA, where we want to talk about all the trades that have happened, both on the trade deadline and one trade leading up to it, because there were some leading up to the deadline. So, I'm just going to read off these so that way I do not mess some of them up. One of the big trades were between the Timberwolves and the Warriors. The Timberwolves acquired D'Angelo Russell, one of the bigger names to get moved at the trade deadline, if not the biggest. Omari Spellman and Jacob Evans. The Warriors acquire Andrew Wiggins, the Timberwolves' 2020 first round pick. Unless it's a top 3 pick, that part is protected. And a Timberwolves 2021 second round pick. So, overall, I know Brett loved this for the Timberwolves. I'm shocked that they're making this move. Congrats to the Warriors, because I know from this they're dumping a decent bit of cap. And anytime you're getting draft picks as somebody who isn't doing too well in the year, it's always a good sign for the future that you can look ahead. The Cavs and the Pistons were one of the other big headlines as Andre Drummond got moved. The Cavs acquired Andre Drummond from the Pistons. The Pistons, in return, got Brandon Knight, John Henson, and a 2023. And either the Cavs or the Warriors 2023 second round pick, as the Cavaliers have both right now. Whichever pick is better, that will be the pick that the Pistons get. I'm shocked by this for the fact that Andre Drummond was not going to a team that was heavier in playoff contention. I thought that would be somebody that a team who was kind of lacking a big guy or wanted to boost that part of their game would go after him. So interesting to see that the Cavs got him, but let's see what they can do with him, mainly next year and moving forward. The Clippers and Knicks and Wizards were all in a 3-team trade as the Clippers beat out the Lakers. They got Marcus Morris and Isaiah Thomas. That's the big headline from that one. There's a couple other picks involved, along with the Knicks getting Maurice Harkless and the Wizards getting Jerome Robinson. We won't harp too much on that one. And then Andre Iguodala was acquired by the Heat. This is a great move for the Heat. Really gives them a little bit more depth. They also got Jake Crowder. This was a 3-team deal between the Heat, Grizzlies, and Timberwolves. Those are the headline names from that one, as the Heat are in the best playoff contention of the teams involved. And then the last one I want to harp on the actual deadline was the Sixers getting Alec Burks and Glenn Robinson III. They gave up a decent amount of picks for this. However, this team over the past year and a half especially has looked to maybe be more all-in in this year and the upcoming years. So we'll see how that plays out. I know that they're supposed to be better 3-point shooters. Brett was fond of this trade. I don't know Spencer's take on this, so we'll have to try and get theirs in the next episode if they have time to comment on it. But yeah, we'll see how this plays out. The Sixers needed some help shooting, as Furkan Korkmaz lately was the only person who could hit a 3 on the team. So yeah, we'll see. And then finally, as I'm about to go over the time limit that I set for this, but this is slightly different in a special episode, as we have the trade deadline that I wanted to talk about. The trade that happened prior to the trade deadline that was worth noting was a 4-team trade, mainly involving the Rockets, Hawks, Timberwolves, and Nuggets. The Timberwolves were probably one of the most active teams, which shocked me, as they were not one who's looking to, I'd say, make the deepest playoff run this year. But they are getting a lot of picks for the most part. So, in this trade, the Rockets got Robert Covington. Great player, phenomenal, maybe slightly biased as a Sixers fan, but honestly a solid guy that you can put in place, get some good defense out of, and hit a 3, and overall be able to do almost anything you want him to do aside from play down in the post. So they got Robert Covington, Jordan Bell, the Warriors 2024 second round pick. The Hawks got Clint Capella and Nene. The Timberwolves got a variety of players, along with the Nets 2020 first round pick. It is a top 14 protected. And if it is a top 14 and protected this year, it will be their pick next year. And then the Nuggets acquired a variety of players, including Gerald Green, Shabazz Napier, Noah Vonleh, and the Rockets 2020 first round pick. So overall, as this video nears 10 minutes, this trade deadline was not quite what it was last year, but overall, just as Spencer predicted, on the actual day of the deadline itself, it took a little longer, but we did see a lot of those big name players that we expected to see and love to see as fans kind of stir up the pot and get some hype. So, make sure you like, comment, smash that subscribe button. Let me know if you like this format. Anytime I'm doing this, at least, and I'll try and make sure Brett and Spencer are doing the same, we'll give rough estimates of time marks. So if you only want to watch that sport, you're still able to. Today, I stuck to that pretty well. I know we spent a lot of time on the NBA as it was the trade deadline, and we'll see how that goes in the future. Next week, there won't be too much as the All-Star game is approaching. So, thanks again for watching, and make sure you give us a follow so you can see all the new videos from Top Draft Sports.